All right, welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Edge. This is an RPG and gaming podcast. My name's Hat.
And I'm Eric.
And we're going to talk, as promised, about the Nintendo E3 of 2018, obviously. Some exciting stuff there we want to talk about. I know Eric has a lot of stuff he wants to talk about what wasn't there. And then also we're going to talk about the Final Fantasy 7 Remake news. Skyrim's on Alexa. I tried that out on my Android phone. I'll talk about that. But before we get into any of that, Eric, what have you been playing this week?
Nothing too much. I've been trimming through the Kingdom Hearts HD collection on the PS4, kind of getting prepared for 3, just kind of refreshing my mind. But the main game I've been trying to get through right now is Trails in the Sky, the Legend of Heroes game for the PSP. And it's one I keep hearing people talk about, just saying, oh, it's so great. It's an RPG that just changed everything for me. And a lot of times over the years, I couldn't get myself past the first hour of the game just because the writing really set me off, or like put me off. Right. So, but this time I decided I don't care how much I have a problem with it. Just get through it. People
get to the good parts.
Yeah. People swear there's something good about the game, and it's starting to get somewhere. On my clock, I'm about 8 hours in. I'm what people consider like the second main big area, and things are starting to pick up, but it tends to have like moments where it's like really good, and it's like moments where it feels like pretty mundane, pretty JRPG-ish. But they say that like by the time you get like to the third or fourth area, things start really picking up, and that's cool. And I'm trekking through it. I'm really trying to get to that part. It's kind of a slow paced thing for me because I only got but so much time to do it. But yeah. I mean, it's an okay game. I don't see what the big hubbub about it is yet, but I'm giving it the fair chance it deserves. So I'll be able to give a better opinion.
Right. Do you know roughly? I mean, obviously, I don't expect you to know the exact date, but do you know roughly when it came out?
I think it came out like the mid 2000s, like 2004, 2005. The game came out.
Because I wonder sometimes with some of those games if maybe it's just a time period classic. Like at that time, people really enjoyed it, but if you go back to it today, it's kind of like, oh, geez, like I'm not quite sure why this was popular.
Well, the reason the writing puts me off so much is because they keep having to go out of the way to give the tropes of it. Like Estelle is the clumsy girl, the hot-headed person, but like that person has a really good heart. Then Joshua is like the more conservative, serious one, and what they do with these characters is like they just like to keep pushing that thing about them, and they constantly like to keep acknowledging it while they're at it. And why that gets me off so much is because it's a constant telling me how I should feel about this character and not letting me come to my own conclusion through her actions. It's okay to bring it up once in a while, but like every event, it's like they want to like keep telling me Estelle is this type of character, Joshua is this type of character, Scarazard is this type of character, and everything like that. It's like, it's okay. I get it. That's who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, like, show me, don't tell me. It's that simple. But I mean, that's something that's like a fault of a lot of JRPG writing. I know I'm an unpopular opinion about that, maybe, but like JRPGs do tend to do that. They just like they do a lot more telling than showing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of is a JRPG trope in of itself. So, is the gameplay good though?
It's your standard fare. It is pretty neat that you can move around in a field. It's kind of similar to, I keep thinking of Arc the Lad when I play this game, because it has methods of moving around in the field, but it has basic JRPG elements on top of that. And it's very simple to learn, simple to understand. There's nothing too unique about it. That's the most unique aspect about it.
So wait, the turn it's a standard JRPG. It's not a tactical based game, right?
No.
But once you go into a turn, once you go into battles, it turns into more of a like a tactics type.
Yes and no. You can move characters around on the grid, but it's I don't even know the best way to put it. They're on a grid, but
does it matter how far away you are from characters and stuff like that, or is that just?
Some characters can reach further. Some characters have like a gun. You can use magic from anywhere, but I think if you get like in certain positions of the enemy, you hit them harder.
Okay.
Or if you want to psych out an enemy and try to move your character away so they don't get hit by an enemy. I mean, it's kind of small elements like that. It's nothing too much to think about, but it's just like a element in there. I'll say the battle system is more than passable. You know, it works. There's nothing frustrating about it. I mean, it's simple to pick up. You learn how the battle system works by like 2 or 3 battles.
Very cool. So, would you recommend it if I saw it in a bargain bin somewhere for $5 or $10?
Yeah. I mean,
perfect.
I may be a tad hard on it right now, but it's definitely something JRPG players would like. It's ones who are more forgiving of certain elements of JRPG tropes you see a lot nowadays.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So, I don't know. I'll have to check that out. Maybe see if I see what everyone else is talking about. But speaking of what everybody's been talking about, I finally picked up my Switch this week. It's I was kind of late to the party here, and but I don't know. I knew I wanted to get it for Octopath Traveler, and then I saw the demo was being announced for the Switch coming on. I think they released it on June 14th, and I wanted to get in on that demo because I was really hyped about that game. So I bought a Switch about a week ago, roughly, maybe 5 or 6 days ago, and I got Breath of the Wild with it because I figured that was my go-to game.
Got it. That's a must-have.
So, before I get into that, slight complaint. Maybe it's the product of the Switch being a new system, but man, all their games, they don't have anything that's under like, from what I was seeing, anything that's under like $40. So like I was looking at it like, okay, I'm going to buy this $300 system, and then I want to get a couple of games, but I'm like, man, I already spent $300. I got Breath of the Wild, and I got it before their sale, so I had to spend like around $60 on that.
There's plenty of good cheap games on there.
Well, if I go to their e-store, but I'm looking for like, I don't know. I was thinking about, I'll pick up Skyrim. That was $60. Mario Odyssey, that's still, and I guess all these games are still fairly new. But like I said, I don't know.
Skyrim is not $60, but
what's that?
I mean, like Skyrim shouldn't be $60. It is, you're right, but it shouldn't be at this point. Yeah, man, that should have been like a $30, $40 game at most.
For sure. So, but anyways, so I picked up Breath of the Wild though. That's really all I needed because I've been playing the crap out of that game. Pretty much any chance I can get. I really like it a lot. I mean, there's very little for me to complain about with that game, and some of it might just be user error. I think my only complaint is sometimes in battle, I'll get so frantic, like I'll accidentally press the one of the joysticks down, and he'll start crouching. I'm like, no, you idiot, stop doing that. But really, it's because I did that. So, but just that's like the only thing I've encountered. Everything else has been great. Every time I get bored, just around the corner, something new appears or something new for me to do. So overall, it's a really, really good game. And I'm really surprised with the Switch when I take it off the dock from my TV in my living room and I go to portable mode, I can tell a visual difference, but I thought it would be a lot lower quality than it is in the portable version. It seems like it holds up fairly well.
Yeah, it goes down to 720p when you take out of the dock for Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, on like such a small screen and everything, like it still looks really nice. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful, rather on the portable screen or on the TV. Man, I just can't begin to tell you how much I love Breath of the Wild. I on my timer it shows over 400 hours now, and I 100% complete the normal mode and about roughly over 50% on the master mode. I'm off and on the master mode, but man, I just enjoy every minute of it so much that like I did all those 900 Korok seeds. And I'm doing it again in master mode.
Oh, wow. So wait, so master mode, that's after you beat the game and then you go back, that's like a hard mode?
I think if you download the DLC, it becomes available.
Okay.
Rather if you beat it or not. But it's harder in the sense that enemies are all scaled higher.
Mm-hmm.
Enemies can start auto recovering if you leave them alone too long, and bosses included with that. I think stuff breaks easier, and enemies are just like more aggressive all around.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like if you see a Lionel in master mode, that's like, oh man, you better know how to hit that dodge button very well.
Cool. Well, okay, so maybe you can answer my question then, because I've been wondering this. Is there a way to repair items, or do you just have to?
Nope.
Okay, so they're just going to break eventually, no matter what.
They're going to break, but more unique weapons that you notice are like standing by themselves will eventually go back to that place after like the blood moon happens. So after the blood moon happens, you can remember to yourself, oh yeah, there was a fire sword in this area. I can go back and get that now. And eventually you do, well, I won't spoil anything for you, but that is the concept of it. You eventually get more weapons that are more durable and last longer. At your point in the game right now, you have weaker weapons that break a lot easier.
Well, I mean, I don't know how far in the game I've gotten, but I've gotten 9 shrines. So I've got that. I got the paraglider. The game keeps pushing me to like want to use like a leaf to like go sailing, and I don't know. I tried that once, and some creature came out and like killed me. But I don't know.
9 out of 120 shrines.
So I'm not very far then. Okay, I didn't know how far it was because I've been trying to. Go ahead.
You're as far as you want to be. You can go in and kill Ganon anytime you want.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to do 100% completion this goal, like I did with normal mode, you're nowhere near.
Well, one thing I've been really impressed with this game also is taking my jacket off while I'm saying this because I don't know why I decided to wear a jacket. Terrible idea. So one thing I've been really impressed with is, generally speaking, I do not like puzzles in games. I just don't like it. Usually it just drives me nuts. They take way too long. I don't want to be doing it. They're not very fun. And this game, I actually like when I see a shrine, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to get there because the puzzles are like really short. They're really well paced. You know, I know when I go in there, it's not going to take me like 4 hours to get through it. It's like, okay, I can get through it in like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And, you know, I feel compelled to not want to look it up and try to figure it out on my own. And I get a sense of reward out of actually figuring out how to do it, which is really, really good for someone like me. I was impressed because I don't typically like puzzle-based games in my RPGs. And I guess this isn't really an RPG because there's not really like the stat thing, and it's not like your typical. It's more of an action adventure game, but mentally, I still think of it almost in the same cousin family relationship. But yeah. I was really impressed with that, the puzzle-based aspect.
Yeah, the thing I really like about those shrines is a lot of times they're not only just one solution. Like you can get creative and find your own way to figure it out. Now, some shrines that like you kind of have to go the way they want you to go. But a lot of times you'll see like there is this one where you use a gyroscope. They use the gyroscope to control the platform.
Well, I had to do one like that where it was like I had to like use the switch and I had to go back and forth with this ball that was dropping and try to get it to land in this platform to get it to roll down. That was kind of cool. That was fun. I actually had a good time with that. Like, see, and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of like I didn't expect, and it's surprising, and it's enjoyable, and it doesn't take you forever to figure out. It takes you just long enough. Now, if you compare this to like, well, go ahead.
You know how you can exploit that puzzle?
How's that?
Flip the entire thing with the gyro. You can flip that entire platform where it uses the bottom of it instead of the maze.
Oh, so it's just flat?
Yeah, so it's just flat. You can take the ball, you can just roll it, and boom, done. See? You can do things your own way. I didn't know. I didn't even think about that. But master mode, I did that.
That's a. I don't know. If I run into another one like that, I'll have to think about that. That's funny. Yeah, but I mean, like certain games, like even games I really, really love, like the puzzle aspect, man, drives me nuts. Final Fantasy X, for example, Now, like not all those like I can't remember what you call it, but when you go to the temples and you have to take all the spheres and the thing,
Cloister
it's
of
not.
Trials.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Most of those are not that hard, but there's one in particular. I think was at Bevel with like the moving platforms. Dude, there's no way you're figuring that out on the first attempt without a strategy guide. It's just trial and error, and I don't like puzzles that are trial and error. I like to be able to look at something, strategically figure out how I'm going to do it, and that just be it. I hate the idea that I have to just, well, that didn't work. Let me try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try this. I'm like, dude, this isn't fun at all. You know?
I agree with you. I would have been fine if that was used on like one of the cloister trials, but every cloister trial dungeon was put this orb in here to make orb do that. And
yeah, it gets a little old.
Out.
Yeah,
especially in Bevel.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, but I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot of other games too, but that's the biggest thing I've been playing this week, and I'm gonna keep playing it and see how far I can get in it. It's been taking up a lot of time, but I'm actually just I really like to switch a lot in that. You know, when I'm playing it on the TV and I get kind of tired, but I'm not quite ready to go to bed. You know, we've all had that point where there's that like half hour, 45-minute window where you're like, I don't want to sit here on the couch anymore, but I'm really tired. I just pick it up and go in bed and just play it while I'm in bed until I'm ready to pass out. I mean, I don't know why nobody ever thought of that before, but I guess people have, but just the way it's built is just really well executed.
That's how I play Trails right now. It's like just in my bed before I go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes so much sense, and like it's really intuitive that you can just sit down and play it for like 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it, and just go do something else afterwards. So, I really like it.
Honestly, the Switch is probably, I think, the greatest device I've like ever come across ever since like the PS2, and you know. I've liked other consoles that have come out and everything, and it's really cool. But the Switch just conceptually just hits home for me in so many levels. I love being able to take her out and go portable with it. And if I really want to go in the console, I go in the console. I mean, the indie games are incredibly vast and everything. I mean, it just hits all the right notes with me.
Yeah. Very cool. I mean, I agree, man. I really like it. I was surprised with how thin it is too. I thought it was going to be a thicker system. It's actually pretty lightweight and thin too. So, I'm just all around pretty surprised. So, overall, good purchase in my book. But anyways, moving on though, we had some news with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Also, some news with the Kingdom Hearts. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull up an article from IGN, in which they were able to interview Nomura, who's directing the game, and he gave some interesting insight on the status of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So let's check this out. I'm gonna just go ahead and read this article, and then we can talk about it. All right, so it's titled E3 2018 Final Fantasy VII Remake has moved beyond early concept stages. So Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Remake was one of the biggest no-shows at E3 2018, and it may still be a long way off from release, but Tetsuya Nomura today gave fans a sliver of hope, stating that the remake has at least moved past the conceptual stage and into full development. Nomura told IGN during an E3 interview that Final Fantasy VII Remake is being developed in parallel to Kingdom Hearts 3, which he's also directing. The director added that he's putting a full effort into Final Fantasy VII Remake when he's not working on Kingdom Hearts 3. That is. Specifically, he said it's not just in the early concept stages. We are actually in development. So right now I've been putting 100% into Kingdom Hearts and 100% into Final Fantasy VII and 100% into Kingdom Hearts and going back and forth. He's putting in some long hours at the office to make that possible, but doing so doesn't bother Nomura. In fact, he prefers working overtime to having leisure time to spend with other people.
Sad.
He said, I don't get fatigued by that at all. Nomura explained, it's really fun for me to do. I actually don't like human relationships more than just work.
So was he crying when he said that?
I don't know. This is so weird. Like, I can't imagine this is actually how he said it, but he said he doesn't like, I actually don't like human relationships more than just work. I just want to focus on work and creating things I don't have to deal with human relationships. It's actually a little bit easier for me to do than not working. It helps that he has so many fans in his corner, more than just enabling Nomura to have a career making video games. His fans also keep him invested in the work. We're almost through here. He said, I do not need fans. I do need fans to play my games, be able to create it. And so fans are definitely a factor to motivate me to keep on going. Then it says Kingdom Hearts 3 was delayed this week due to sales and marketing reasons. And while Nomura will have one less game to work on when it releases, he may still have to work on DLC after that. Until then, Nomura isn't giving any secrets about the game, insisting players experience it for themselves to find out where the venture will take Sora and friends. Yeah, so this is the interview / article that's been kind of making waves lately. And yeah, I think the biggest thing actually is just that one quote where he said, the Final Fantasy 7 Remake, it's not just in the early concept stages. We're actually in development. So right now I've been putting 100% into Kingdom Hearts and 100% to Final Fantasy 7, so forth. That's the biggest thing that has been going around, that Nomura actually just kind of gave a status update with the 7 Remake. Kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of sad, like you said, that he doesn't like human beings at all. It's just odd. But, I mean, hey, it sounds like he's been prioritizing Kingdom Hearts 3. That's kind of what I got out of that. I mean, he kind of said, hey, I've been going back and forth. But it seems to me, from what was implied in the article, was that he's been prioritizing Kingdom Hearts because it's coming out first. But once that's released, he'll be able to focus on it, but it's not in the early stages.
I mean, that's great for us, but that can't be good for his mental health.
Yeah, when you said, was he crying during that? Like, I could almost see that. Like, was he just crying? Like, yeah, I don't really like people. I just like to work.
Mr. Nomura, was that a tear that just came out of your eye? He's like, oh no, it must be the air conditioning in here.
No, I don't really get out anymore, but it's okay. I have a really comfy chair. It's nice.
President of Square Enix just like puts his head through the door. It's like, is everything okay in here? It's like, yes, sir. I love Square Enix.
It's like, I'm actually taking notes while I'm working while I'm doing this interview. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about that specific part. Maybe he is just a workaholic like that. Maybe he's that much into his work.
Maybe that's why he has so much work over there. It's just because he's so dependable.
Well, he's not very dependable, though, because Final Fantasy 15, right?
Well, I mean, he was as involved as he could be until Tabata took over.
Sure. Well, from what I understand, at one point he was wanting to make it a musical, and then he kept going back and forth. Sounds like he just got a little too ambitious.
Look, that may be the unpopular opinion, but I'd be interested to see a musical Final Fantasy, at least in a spin-off game, maybe something like World of Final Fantasy.
So if you had like the opera scene from Final Fantasy VI, but it was like an entire game.
Yeah, make it like sort of like a opera type game where.
See, I like the concept of it, but I'm just trying to imagine Noctis singing with like an opera voice, and it just like is making me laugh mentally.
I think it ultimately would be more appropriate for like a spin-off game.
Sure.
But
yeah, I mean,
I think something like that would have potential as long as you take it seriously.
Yeah,
I think it would have potential. I
think that could be a great spin-off title, like you said, but I couldn't see a main entry coming out the gates like that. But anyways, I mean, yeah, he's maybe it is. Maybe it's just like, hey, he's this big name guy at Square. He's our go-to guy now. Katase is kind of, moving up in the ranks here. He's now on the board of directors. He's only producing stuff. He's not really directing games. Maybe that's why they're just giving him all this work. But he said the game is way past. The game is past the conceptual stage. It is in full development. So,
yeah,
that doesn't really tell us when it's coming out. But
I have a feeling Nomura's involvement in FF16 will probably be like art director. because Nomura's character designs are the ones that sell. I like Akihiko Yoshida's art style more from 12 and 14, but
I do too, but I don't mind Nomura's either.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nomura. Don't get me wrong, just I like Akihiko a little more.
Yeah, so nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think if Final Fantasy VII Part 1, right, if that does well, which I'm sure it will, but I mean, if the fan reception is favorable, I imagine he's going to be pretty busy for the next 10 or 15 years doing the, sequels. But yeah, I could see him taking a minor role or a more minor role. It's funny. Art director is not a real minor role, but compared to director, it can be. So yeah. I guess there's not too much else to say about that. I mean,
what do you expect? FF7 is just not going to come out in this generation. I think it's just going to be. I think the way he just described it now makes me think or agree more with you when you said it will likely be on a next gen console.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think more and more every time I hear interviews about FF7R that it's going to be on like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 2. Well, not Xbox 2, it's a Sony exclusive for now, but like on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it is, for me, the one takeaway is Nomura said it's not just in early concept stages. We are actually in development on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that's good news. A lot of people were concerned with a lot of the job postings and everything that, when they're looking for battle designers and to build enemy designs, that maybe they were, very, very early in the game and the development cycle. A lot of people were theorizing that after CyberConnect 2, they got rid of everything. So the fact that, they're actually working on the game is good news. So we'll have to look out for some more information. But I think that's about the most we can get out of that. Don't you think?
I mean, we're all excited for it, but it's I feel like it's just like an abusive relationship where just like Square Enix just keeps abusing us with this, and we're just kind of taking it and just being hopeful. And I hope the end product is worth all the hassle it went through. I mean, FF15 wasn't, but hopefully this one will be.
Well, let's just keep the bot off this game. So hopefully 2 years from now, they're not like, hey, we need somebody else to direct this, and Tabata volunteers.
Keep him in his position of distributor of caffeinated goods.
Tabata's in charge of refilling the vending machine. He's very good at it. But anyways, very cool. Another kind of not really similar thing at all, really, actually, but Nintendo E3. We recorded before that happened, their conference, and when I watched it, I felt like they covered a ton of stuff. But then when I went back and watched it again, I didn't watch it again. I watched a shorter version of it with a list of like actually what they covered. It didn't really cover a lot. I mean, they made it look like they looked like they presented more than they actually did. I think part of it was just naming all the characters that were going to be in Super Smash Brothers. That made me like just feel like, whoa, they're like releasing so much stuff. But then when you look at the games that were actually announced, it was only like a handful, really.
After that Nintendo E3 conference, I kind of went back to look at what I said in the previous episode before, being all optimistic about Nintendo and was obviously going to be there. And now I'm just watching him like, if only you knew. If only you knew. I mean, I will say Nintendo's was my favorite of the three. But even Nintendo didn't fully deliver. I mean, we're all happy to see Smash. I mean, this definitely looks like the greatest Smash ever coming out. I mean, you got every character from every game before coming, even Snake that wasn't in the previous one. Solid Snake is coming back. And Ice Climbers are coming back, which a lot of people are disappointed weren't in the previous game because there was technical limitations on the 3DS that didn't allow them in. They're in. A lot of stages from the previous games have come back and they redid them. And contrary to the popular belief that this is a port of the Wii U version, it, according to Sakurai, it is not a port. It is actually built from the ground up, according to him.
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now, and um, it looks very appealing. I mean, it's got all these different characters in it. And I'm trying to remember, what was your original prediction for when they originally released a short, like little, like 8-second trailer for this game? Were you one of the people that thought that it was going to be a brand new game, or did you think it was just going to be a remastered version with some new skins? Or
I honestly thought they were just going to combine the Wii U and the 3DS version together and maybe add just a few more characters.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, that's a reasonable thing to predict. I mean,
yeah, because Wii U Smash Bros. Came out in 2014. It's 2018, so it's possible they could have something new to bring out, but they could have just as easily ported the Wii U version and just made some adjustments.
Yeah.
And people would have been A-okay with that. Thumbs up. They're ready to go. But they went a step beyond and they did this. I mean, they just did everything for this game just to make sure to please everyone as much as they possibly could. And there's a funny meme going around the internet with a picture of Sakurai, and it says on the bottom, "Don't ask for anything from me ever again."
He's like, I just did it. Yeah.
Because he openly says all the time he's tired of making Smash Bros. So he was kind of like, he's like, screw it, just throw everything in there, put every character in there, put every stage in there, give mechanics that melee people will like, and make the competitive scene, make it the greatest Smash Bros. Ever, so I don't have to do this crap anymore.
Let's make it like a Skyrim level Super Smash Brothers where we can just keep releasing the same game for a decade.
Yeah. And as soon as it comes out, they're like, Nintendo's going to come in and be like, "Hey, that was great, Sakurai. So, chop, get the Smash Bros. Ultimate 2. He'll be like, oh.
Yeah, maybe he'll do something else eventually. I don't know. I mean, it looks very like I'm not really. I played Super Smash Brothers when I was a younger on the Nintendo 64. I liked it then. I haven't really played it that much since then, but I'm just watching this from that perspective of somebody that's not really like over the top about these games, about this series. Just watching their presentation, it was an entertaining presentation. If they were going for that wow factor, they got me, man, because just showing all those characters from different series that I've been into over the years. And just showing that, like, wow, like everyone's there, and it just looks so polished as well, and it just all the art styles mesh together so fluently. Like it looked really, really good. So I think I might actually pick it up. To be honest,
I mean, I'm definitely picking it up. I wouldn't say that I'm like in the tournament scene or anything, but Smash Bros. Is one of those very few rare games that I actually feel a little competitive with. Granted, it's more competition with my friends, and I may get online sometimes to fight other people, but I mostly enjoy playing it with friends and, just, smack talking each other while playing it and everything.
Yeah, it's a good Friday night activity if you have some friends over, just kind of just hang out and play some Super Smash Brothers. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's great in that regard, and I did get pretty good at it. And the funny thing about Smash Bros is like you think you're really good at it, like especially when you like play with your friends and you can beat them a lot of times, and you're like, oh man, that could be like tournament ready for this if I want to. Then you actually see a tournament or you fight someone who's tournament level, and they just destroy you, and they just wipe you off the map, and you're like, huh, well. That was a hit to my morale.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah.
I mean, they just know the nitty gritty of the mechanics. They know what characters are ranked higher than other characters. They know how to break the mechanics of the system. I mean, they just play on a whole different level. Like I play on a level that I just enjoy the game and have fun. I don't care who's playing who and stuff like that. And there's these people. I mean, kudos to them for being really good at the game. And those tournaments are pretty fun to watch. Just I'm like, oh, I mean, I cannot compel myself enough to get into the competitive scene that much.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you. Me either.
I still love Smash Bros. I still love playing it.
Yeah, for sure. It's always kind of like irked me a little bit though when I see characters that are in the game that were not like Nintendo characters. Like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. You have Cloud, but like he really wasn't on a Nintendo console, so it's kind of like
Smash.
Yeah.
Smash Bros has become more of a celebration of video games in general now.
Yeah, I know. It's just it still gets to me though every now and again because when I look at it, I'm just like, okay, I'll accept it. But,
the only thing they're missing from having everyone in is like Master Chief and Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, well, I could see Crash Bandicoot. That would be pretty like. That would probably get a lot of buzz if they got Crash Bandicoot, but like Master Chief, I think it's going to be a while.
Think about this: they have Nintendo's flagship character Mario, then Square Enix with Cloud, Bandai Namco with Pac-Man.
I would say I would go a step further. Snake. I would say Cloud is almost Sony's flagship character. Even though Sony didn't make Final Fantasy VII, like the PlayStation and the Final Fantasy VII, they like, I don't know, they go like you can't really talk about that era without bringing up that game. So, but I know what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then you have who else? Capcom with Ryu.
Mm-hmm.
And Mega Man.
Yeah.
More Mega Man than anything. It's like almost every major third party developer came in and just hosted their like flagship character. And like that's so impressive how they got all this to happen in Smash Bros. Like a once Nintendo oriented game. Oh yeah, and Sega with Sonic.
Yeah, I mean it's really impressive. I kind of wonder. I'd like to see like the contracts that they had to like build to like get all the licensing and such for all these different characters. Because I mean, I don't know how that works. If they just have to pay them a flat out amount to use their character, or if like do they got to give them a percentage of the sales? I don't know. I'm sure it's just a flat amount, but yeah, it's probably pretty wild to think about.
There's a piece of paper that says make more Fire Emblem characters. I swear, there's enough Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros. To make their own fighting game. There's a whole Fire Emblem thing. Yeah, you have Marth, Roy, Lucina, Ike, Corrin, Robin.
Jeez.
That's 6 Fire Emblem characters. And then you have what's his name? Chrom as a assist trophy.
That's a lot, dude. That's well, I mean, and the game itself has, I think, I don't know, some obscene amount of character. What's the total amount? Do you know?
65, I think they said, with the addition of the Inkling Kid and Ridley.
Dude, and I wonder, is there really going to be that much of a difference between each character? 65 characters?
Yeah, they're very different. See, the cool thing about Smash Bros. Is that not only do they bring the characters and they make sure that the characters feel like they're from their respective game. Like Ryu feels like his fighting character in the game. Like even when you one-on-one match someone, like he automatically turns to the character, like in the fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
well, I know they'll use signature moves, but like at the end of the day, a lot of the basic moves, I guess they must because it's a very popular series. So.
No, I can say without a doubt that they take thought and care into these characters. Now, some characters are clones of others, like Ganondorf is a clone of Captain Falcon and his moveset, but Ganondorf has kind of his own thing where he is slower, but he hits a lot harder, and Captain Falcon is a lot faster, but he doesn't hit as hard as Ganondorf. And the same thing with like Young Link to regular Link, like Young Link is a lot faster than Link, but he doesn't hit as hard.
Gotcha. It must be a serious pain trying to when they're building these games to be able to balance the game in a way where
this game's never balanced ever. That's the one thing. It's like there's a crazy amount of imbalance with these games always.
So certain characters are just way overpowered, and then other characters are super weak.
Yeah, some characters actually get banned from tournaments because they're way too OP. Like, I remember during the Brawl era that Meta Knight was a double S ranked character. Mm-hmm. And I believe he got removed from tournaments because his character was too broken.
Oh, wow.
I think Bayonetta got banned also for being too OP. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. So they banned him to make the tournaments as balanced as possible.
Well.
But with Melee, it's always in Smash Bros. Melee in particular, it's always Fox or Falco and Final Destination.
Very cool. I did see where they also talked about they're having a Xenoblade 2 DLC that I didn't Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC that I wasn't really expecting. Maybe I've just been kind of blind to it, but it's called Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Golden Country.
I think it's more appropriate to call it an expansion than DLC.
Yeah, I was going to say that I see that it's being called DLC in some of the the trailers and such, or just in the interviews and such. But the game, like from when I look at the trailer, it seems like it's like almost another game in of itself. I've been trying to get a good grasp of what it is, but it seems like it's a prequel of sorts. Yeah, but it's its own separate story, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred years before the events of the game.
Okay, so you can't really say prequel. It's like a because that's a very, very prequel.
I guess it is a prequel because it's still linked and tied to the events of Xenoblade 2.
Okay,
it's
so it's still attached to the same lore and everything like that. It's just you're not going back to like one generation. Yeah. So
yeah, like in the game, they actually indulge on the events that take place in this DLC. Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying not to spoil anything, but like there's a prominent character that's always spoke of in the game, and this actually tells you more of the tale about him by letting you actually play him.
You know what I do like, because I'm watching this trailer right now, is the characters, at least most of them, they seem a little bit older than we got with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was kind of a turnoff for me with Rex and Myra, I believe her name is. With them looking, and they're looking so young, it just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. Whereas these seem a little bit older, a little bit more mature, which is definitely a positive. But yeah, I don't know what to think about this. It looks like its own game. I'm assuming that since it's just kind of like you said, an expansion, that it's probably quite a bit shorter than the main game.
Yeah,
maybe 10 or 15 hours.
I'd say that's safe, like 10, 15 hours probably. If I had to guess. Xenoblade 2. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that like since I've gotten the Switch, I've been tempted to pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it's just every time I look at it, I haven't played the game, but I've seen so much about it, and I've seen so much discussion about it, and the people that like the game, the things they bring up that they like about it don't really appeal to me generally, and then the things people bring up that they don't like about it are things that I don't like about games generally. So it's just like, oh man, I don't know if I want to buy that. But when I see the DLC or the expansion, I actually almost am more interested in that expansion than the main game. And maybe that's something that's going to be stupid to say once we actually see more information on the expansion itself. But right now, that's kind of my opinion on it.
I can tell you personally that there's a lot of people who enjoyed the game, and I do think there are positive qualities to it, to be sure. But at the end of the day, I did not finish it. I had to put it down. There are so many frustrating elements in that game, and so many systems within systems.
I don't like that stuff.
They made it very challenging for me to enjoy the positive aspects of the game, because the story is pretty all right. The story is very serviceable. I don't think it's anything extravagant. I don't think it's anything that'll blow your mind, but it was a pretty fun story to say the least. The characters were pretty great most of the time. No real complaints there, but they make you go through so many frustrating elements, like poorly designed maps. They keep throwing tutorials at you, even at the last chapters of the game. I mean, they just keep adding systems among systems into you, and it gets frustrating.
Yeah, and that's the one with me and the RPGs. One of my biggest pet peeves in terms of gameplay is having crappy like inventory management type systems, or like you said, just systems within systems. I don't want to feel like I'm playing Age of Empires every time I open up my inventory screen, or I have to like be like managing like stockpiles of crap, and like I have my second monitor open, like, and I'm like researching items, and like, no, I don't want to do any of that. So
I mean, it's so.
I just want to like when I need to level up a character, I just want to do it, and like that's it. I don't when I need to go to a shop, I just want to sell what I don't need, and that's it. I don't want to. It sounds like I don't want to put a lot of thought into it, but like maybe I don't. Maybe that's my problem. But I would rather I don't have as much time as I used to when I was a kid. So like when I want to play a game, I don't want to spend 45 minutes like spreading stat points around and like looking up whether I can sell this magical dagger. I don't want to do that. So
the worst part about that game for me, besides the really awfully designed maps that just frustrate me to no end, is the gacha system in the game. The gacha system is how you get the better blades.
Yeah, so I heard it's just like basically like a loot box, but you don't have to pay for it. But it's just as frustrating.
Yeah, there's no real money elements to it, but you do get you get common core crystals and you get rare core crystals, and the rare core crystals are your chances are greater of getting a rare blade. But you have but the common cores are the one you get mostly. And you go through so many of these, and there's so many blades you have to throw out after you get so many common ones that you never use.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating just to keep going through and over and over and over and over, just not getting what you want. And the worst part about it is the good thing is you don't get the same rare blade twice. But since you're running out of rare blades to get, the chances of you getting one are even severely less. So if you're 100% completionist, this is like a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds awful, and I don't know. I eventually might pick the game up just because I still see some stuff with the game, kind of maybe in like the somewhat of the I don't want to say the art design, but like the world building. It seems to be there that I might be a little interested in. But right now, it doesn't seem like I want to spend the $50 or $60 that they want me to spend on the game.
Yeah, don't spend full price on it. Wait till there's some kind of deal. If you see it for like 30 or less, then I say give it a try and see what you think.
Yeah. I'm definitely not gonna. I'm definitely gonna wait for that the DLC to come out too and see kind of the reception with that also. So.
Oh, also to mention, the DLC will come as a physical form if you want it, and if you want to, you can play the game by itself. You don't have to have Xenoblade. You don't have to own Xenoblade too to play the DLC.
I thought I'd have to have the first game.
You can buy a physical copy of the DLC itself.
That is a game changer. I'm definitely doing that then. I'm going to play the prequel, and then I'm going to play the main game. So I'm going to play... I
kind of wonder if you'll understand the context of the prequel. Well, not playing the main game, though. But, I mean
probably
by
not.
all means, go ahead.
I'll just complain about it on here, and then people can tell me what an idiot I am in the comments. So look forward to that. Please be excited for my Square Enix slogan. Now, what about this Fire Emblem game that was announced? Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yep, that is the one coming out for Switch. I believe it's coming out in spring 2019, I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it's the new Fire Emblem game. It looks really good. Like, the character designs look a lot better. They look a lot more mature, and they kind of toned from looking at it from the outside. I can't fully say it yet, but it kind of looks like they turned down the the JRPG-ish design of it to make it look more serious.
The Switch already has one Fire Emblem game on it, doesn't it?
It's a Muso game. It isn't an actual Fire. It's Fire Emblem Warriors.
Gotcha.
But this one, it looks like they're incorporating a lot more RPG elements. Like you can take a character and traverse through towns and talk to people. I don't know if they're just expanding on the idea of Fates, where you could build your own town and walk around and talk to characters in it from a strategic looking map that you usually have. Mm-hmm. The coolest thing about this game by far, if you look in the previews, is they do a really cool job of showing the scale of a battle. You go up to the usual strategic screen that you see in Fire Emblem games where you're moving the characters around, but when you actually see the characters get into the action of things, you're seeing people multiple soldiers behind you just fighting each other in wars while the other the main characters are fighting against each other. And it's just a true spectacle. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like they actually capture, at least they're trying to anyways, the idea of armies attacking each other, full scale armies, which is pretty cool because usually in a lot of RPGs, they kind of hint that that's what is actually going on, but it's really just you and 6 other NPCs and you're just kind of doing the entire battle yourself. So
it seems brilliant abstract design.
Yeah,
it really is. It's it's showing the normal Fire Emblem grid, and then when it just goes down to it, it just looks so amazing. I'm okay, I want this Fire Emblem game now. I know I've been saying that Fire Emblems have been feeling a little weaker to me lately, mm-hmm. but I think this one may be one that they are truly taking seriously.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. The only reason I was kind of skeptical about it was the other Fire Emblem game, which you said is not actually a legit Fire Emblem game on the Switch. I saw some negative reviews for that game, so it kind of made me wonder if maybe that wasn't really, if they're going a new direction or something like that, because I'm not really into the series. So
you got to be in the Muso games to the Fire Emblem. It's if you're a Fire Emblem fan or a Muso game, then Fire Emblem Warriors is a good time because they actually do a pretty good job of adding Fire Emblem elements into it. That makes it feel like a good hybrid. It's not a main Fire Emblem series, but as a game by itself, it is a fun time.
Yeah, but obviously, like you said, it's not even remotely close to what the actual main series is known for. So
yeah, it's not going to be like that.
Cool. Well, I will, as we get closer, man, we're going to have a lot of games we have to play around that time. We got Kingdom Hearts coming around in early spring 2019 for sure. So we'll have to see when this game officially comes out in relation to that. But I'm definitely interested for sure.
There's 2 games I was disappointed didn't show up in E3.
What's that? I know
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that was the one.
And actually Shin Megami Tensei 5.
I kind of didn't expect that game to show up just because recently, not recently, but back in February, the producer of the series or the game said that we've only now really begun development of the game. So, I mean, that seemed pretty, I guess they could have shown another teaser trailer, but
yeah, I definitely understand that one. More of my disappointment come towards not seeing Metroid Prime 4. And the thing that kind of set me off more is Bill Trinen in the interview said, well, we could have showed off something, but we kind of wanted to show off more what we have coming out, that's coming out in our physical window.
Yeah.
So that tells us that Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be in later 2019, if I had to guess.
Yeah, which is whatever. I was going to say it's baffling, but it's not really baffling at all. It's understandable. But I mean, look, In my opinion, if I remember last year, Nintendo had a really good E3 conference. I feel like they did, anyways. So, it's kind of like hard for them to have multiple years in a row of just like phenomenal E3 conferences. I didn't feel like this one was that bad, but it wasn't that great either.
This entire E3 was basically let's get you up to date on games we already know about.
Yeah, there's very few surprises for sure. But yeah, but yeah, I was surprised Metroid Prime didn't make an appearance, though. I mean, at the very least, it does seem kind of weird if Nintendo knew they weren't going to have an absolutely stellar presentation, that maybe they wouldn't just add that in there just to kind of jazz things up a little bit.
That was my biggest disappointment with E3. I mean, I expect FF7 to not be there. Just how it is. But
go ahead.
Nintendo, I feel like they should have known better a little bit. It's like, come on, you got to show us a little something. Mm-hmm. It's like, let us know that this game is still a thing. I mean, I'm sure that it's getting the development treatment and being well treated like it deserves to be, without a doubt. But sure. I don't. But as a fanboy side of me, I want to see something, please.
Yeah.
Logic aside, just my own personal thing. I just want to see more Metroid. I love that series to death.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised they could. You were saying you've been playing. Was it Curse of the Moon?
Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon.
Yeah, so they went back and made like the classic Super Nintendo, like kind of short game to kind of tide you over till the actual main game comes out, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they do something with like that with Metroid Prime?
They kind of already did.
Did they? I'm not like up on the series. When did they do this?
They came out with a 2D Metroid called Samus Returns. It was a remake of Metroid 2 for the 3DS. It wasn't just like a remake. It was like a whole reimagining of Metroid 2.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess, okay. I mean, I'm just thinking like I'm trying to think of ways to like satisfy fans while games are waiting. And there's like lots of things they could do. And I imagine they just came out with like a little like 1 or 2 hour game they could put on the Nintendo eShop for like $5. It might give some fans that nostalgia they want, and kind of tides you over until the game actually is ready to be talked about,
They could put the old Metroid Prime games on there, hold you over.
Well, there you go, Nintendo. That would be a lot easier than making a new one. So, yeah, imagine that. That's one thing I've been surprised. I'm not surprised about, because we've talked about it, but I keep wanting to go on the Nintendo eShop. I really, really wish they would just port a lot of the games over that are on that you could get like on the Wii and such. But
I think eventually something will come. The problem is that the Wii is the Wii, and the thing with the Wii U was it was backwards compatible with the Wii, so you could use the Wii remotes for it. I'm kind of thinking how you can do that with the Switch without doing full alterations to the game itself, because you do have a gyro in the devices that you can use to simulate the Wii remote, but that's a gyroscope, and the Wii depended on infrared sensors.
So
for motion.
Not only just Wii games, but just in general, even like I was expecting like some kind of announcement with maybe another re-release of Final Fantasy IV, for example, on the Switch, or something like that along those lines, because you could play that on the Wii. I mean, like, I know you can't, like, obviously, like, they're different hardware. It's not like you can just take that game and put it on here. But I mean, just like I just expect like more of those types of games to be available soon, and I expected that announcement at some point.
Well, Square Enix did mention that they are developing a team that's specifically designed to make games for the Switch. So it could really go either way. They could either be new games like Octopath Traveler coming out, or could be like ports of other games they've had back then and put on there. Maybe they'll
maybe Chrono Trigger. I would like to have that on there. I mean,
well, after the PC version, do you really want?
Well, if they could just take the DS version and just like, I just want that version on the Switch. I know there's a lot of details you got to work out, but I'm sure you can figure it out, Nintendo.
I was actually talking to someone the other day, and we were thinking that it's possible that they could port like the mobile PC ports of three of like 1 through 6 or 1 through 9 actually on the Switch. It's possible.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering too. I was like, dude, if they put one announcement that would have killed it this year, if they weren't going to show any Final Fantasy 7 Remake, is if they showed like a trailer for Final Fantasy 7, the original, and it was going to be available on the Switch, and you could get like a hard case copy of the game that you could buy like GameStop or something. Dude, I would have gone out and bought that tomorrow if that was the release date. You know,
imagine them putting Final Fantasy 1 through 12 on the Switch, and they can even do it individually. It doesn't have to be some package. They could just like over time just start putting them in, like put the PSP versions of 1 and 2 in, the DS versions of 3 and 4 in there. Unfortunately, the mobile ports of 5 and 6 is what they would likely do, because I have a feeling they wouldn't put too much effort in that. And like the PC versions of 7, 8, and 9, the HD remasters of 10 and 12, they could do it.
And they could make so much money.
They could. I mean, that's free money right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I realize it costs money to like port them and everything like that and make them presentable, but come on, Square. Those games will sell. Yeah, they'll make the money back, no problem. So
hopefully they go into that territory, because the Switch was like a more of a surprise to most developers on its success. They were kind of like hanging there, but like, okay, this is either going to be like the next Wii, or it could be another Wii U. And it turned out being like the next Wii in terms of sales and numbers, stuff like that. So now they're developing for it.
Yeah, well, and it is a very cool console. And what it even does stuff that I've never even thought about. It's a very innovative console, because during the E3 conference, when we were when I was watching that and they started going in on a Super Mario Party, they had this scene where, you know, they have this group of people together, and I guess they go to like a bar or something, which I would never bring my Switch to a bar. That's a horrible idea. That's a good way for it to get broken.
I think bringing a Switch to any like really public place is like not a good idea.
Yeah, it's gonna, yeah. But anyways, yeah, let me just carry this $300 console around. That has a big glass front on it.
Just throw it in my backpack, and like people do, because they try to advertise it's that durable. I'm like, man, that'd freak me out.
Exactly. But they have this really cool where they put the two Switch screens together, and all of a sudden it's like one screen that you can like move a character back and forth between the screens. And I mean, that's like something that like I never really thought about that's possible with the Switch. And there's all sorts of things that they're doing. The Nintendo Labo or whatever the hell it is, that I think it's the dumbest thing ever I've ever seen, with the cardboard like piano and stuff. But I mean, like, it's a very innovative console, and you can do a lot of crazy things with it.
That Super Mario Party actually looks pretty cool. I've never been that fascinated with a Mario Party since
the 64.
Nintendo 64. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still played that one like a year ago at a friend's house. We were getting down on it. So, I mean, but it's a very cool system.
Yeah, I love my Switch. Any opportunity to play it, I will.
Yeah. So, I don't know where I was going with that. I had a point that I was getting to, but I lost it, so it must not be that important.
You're just saying how wonderful the Switch is, and it's the greatest thing you've ever held in your hand ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about the greatest thing I've ever held in my hand, but it's it's probably it's enjoyable. Let's leave it there. So, one thing that I was wishing that we got more information on, and we did kind of at the E3 conference for Nintendo, was Octopath Traveler. I was kind of complaining at the E3. I keep saying E3. It's Square Enix one, that we were going to get more. I was looking forward to more information on Octopath Traveler, and they kind of showed us this boring trailer. It didn't really entice me to pick up the game, and I was kind of disappointed. And you suggested that it was going to make another appearance at the Nintendo one, and you were correct. So, kind of. They did a quick, like, 10-second little thing on Octopath Traveler, but at the end of it, they announced, hey, in 2 days, you're going to be able to buy, or you're going to be able to play a new demo for Octopath Traveler, and that got me excited and actually motivated me to go buy the Switch. I was going to buy it anyways, but I said, let me just do it today. I keep talking about it. I'll just do it today. So I did that, and I've been playing the demo. I know you said you've been playing it too a little bit.
Yeah, I picked Primrose for mine. Since the previous demo had the mercenary, I just chose the dancer.
So this one I chose I don't know how you say it, the Apothecary. I don't know. But Alphen, yeah. The healer or whatever. And yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to this game, man. I don't really like the idea that it's like 8 different stories that like it just seems like really like where's the main plot? I'm still trying to get a good idea on what that is. But
it's a saga-like game, so that's kind of how it's structured.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that you can start at any one character, but whatever. I'm sure I'll get over it because when I'm playing this game, man, like it's like the art style is just so attractive to me, and then, I mean, just the music is so spot on too, which I was impressed with. I kind of expected like kind of a generic soundtrack like you get with, the Tokyo RPG games where it's not that great, but it's actually on point, man. This sound, especially the battle theme, is just it's really stuck in my head. I've been listening to it a lot on my own when I'm not playing the game, so I'm really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, this is how you hit nostalgia.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Like, I mean, you bring elements of familiarity while still adding something new at the same time, making it appealing, like to the modern day. It's like this is how you do things nostalgically. The problem with like Lost Sphere and I Am Setsuna is they try to draw too hard from nostalgia, but don't know why it works the way it does. I mean, and that's the problem. There's an Octopath Traveler just comes in and says, kids, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, it's a really well done, and I was really enjoying it. The only thing I think they could possibly improve on at all, and if I had to be picky, was I think the character sprites in like the typical like Square era, with the Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger, you'd tend to have a lot bigger eyes, and they'd be a little more expressive and a lot of movement. When Frog has a big moment, he'd pull his sword out and like jump up in the air and come down, and it was very well animated. Whereas I notice a lot of times these characters, when they talk, they'll just be blinking and talking. But I mean, maybe I think as the game goes on, I'll see a little bit more life in the sprites. But outside of that, everything's really good. And like it's, I love even older RPGs like Final Fantasy IV, right? And that had almost no character animation at all. And I still really love that game. And this one definitely has a lot of character animation in it. So I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I will admit the glare is pretty high on the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looks gorgeous. It looks like it gave me that same feeling of like Chrono Trigger or FF6. It's like these sprites are so ridiculously well made. Like I have little to no complaints about them. Like I've seen, like you've seen like the FF5 and 6 mobile ports, like the way they have those sprites look just absolutely awful in terms of like how they stand, how they move, everything. It just looks so bad.
Yeah.
In this game, it looks like they took what was great about the animation and sprite style of Chrono Trigger and FF6 and just improved upon that. Like they didn't go to
I see what you mean.
And like
I think I just like the only thing I liked I think more so in those other games was that these look like a more realistic sprite where like everything's very proportioned, whereas in the old Square games you would have a very small body but then like a gigantic head and these big gigantic eyes, and they would get away with a lot of self-expression, a lot of emotion. But I mean, this very detailed look is very appealing as well. So I like it. I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me of Actually, I was gonna say it's kind of like a. I was gonna say Final Fantasy Tactics in a way. The character sprites, but that's not really a good fit. So I don't know. But it does hit all the right notes for nostalgia for me. So I'm a big fan, and I'm looking forward to picking it up.
I think but just playing through it, just like all the good games are just going through our head on what it looks like. And
yeah,
I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like I'm RPG hopping right now with just waiting anticipation for it. And I did try a little bit of the 3-hour demo, and I really like what I played, but like I'm really holding back on it. I'm going to start like a whole new thing when it comes out because I'm going to forget a lot of what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I've been playing it, and I know it'll carry over, but the game's not coming out for a month, and like I don't want to. If the plot, if there's anything in the story that feels convoluted, I don't want to feel like, well, maybe if I like went back and played the beginning again, maybe maybe it would make more sense. I want to know like from the get go, like okay, if I play from start to end, how am I going to feel with this? So I agree.
No, I mean I'm looking forward to it, so I'm going to give it the proper treatment it deserves.
Yeah, so we'll definitely talk about it when the time comes, and I think it's going to do well. There's a lot of expectations surrounding the game, and hopefully it does do well, so that Square will continue making this style of game. And I would actually support a Final Fantasy VI remake in this style. I think it would be very, very fitting. So, anyways, get some water there. One other topic here that we'll hit real quickly.
This one's all you, man.
Yeah. So, where to start with this?
It's Skyrim, Wet Paper Napkin Edition.
Yeah, so essentially, here, I'm going to pull the thing up. So essentially, there's this commercial. Probably a lot of you saw it. It was very popular. But Skyrim, the very special edition. And the whole commercial is hilarious. I watched it a few times. But it's this, I can't remember his name, but I think he's a famous comedian.
He's one, I forgot his name specifically, but it's from the Key and Peele show.
Okay, yeah, I've seen him around. I don't know his name though, but he's very, very funny, and he's telling Alexa, the Amazon device, what to do in this supposed text adventure type Skyrim game, where he gives voice commands and Alexa will read back what's happening. And at one point he's trying to do the shout from Skyrim, and it's not working, and he's like pushing everything off his desk. And what really cracks me up is when there's this dragon and it like breathes fire on him, and he's like, okay. And then Alexa says, well, you have 7% health left. He tries to use a potion, says you don't have a potion. Wait, do I have any cheese wheels? You have 475. And he's like, eat them all. Eat all of them. And like, it just cracks me up because that's exactly what happens in the Elder Scrolls. You run out of potions. You start just like consuming whatever you can to stay alive. So it really cracked me up. I thought it was a joke, especially because at the end of the commercial, they have him playing Skyrim on like a pager, on like his refrigerator, Etch-a-Sketch, like all these like crazy things. But I just Googled it today, and no, it's actually a real thing. And now it's not like verbatim Skyrim, but if you want, you don't even have to have an Alexa. I tried it out today. You can go on and download the Alexa app on your phone, and then all you have to say is open Skyrim, and it'll start playing. And then you give it commands, and like here, I'll put some on right now. I'm not gonna do the like whole thing, but it's actually pretty cool. Open Skyrim.
Come back to Skyrim, adventurer. Scroll through your journal on your list. To help scholar, retrieving your Star of Azura from an abandoned fort. You are locked in a thrilling battle with a bandit. Can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Foos row. Your mighty thumb crashes into your foe. The bandit swings his weapon at you. Take 7 damage. What would you like to do?
Attack. Anyways, so I'll stop there, but yeah, you can just do stuff like that and run around, and like it's kind of cool. It's free, and I could see myself playing this in the car, like on the way to work or something, because it's like I can still focus on the road, and it kind of laughs. Like one of the enemies was a raging fan or something like that, and like his attack was he hugged me, and like it did like 5 damage when he hugged me, and then like after like once I killed him in his dying breath, he said, "You're the best." It cracks me up, but yeah, dude. If any of you want to try it, it's free. There's no, I haven't seen any like buy, like it's not free to play. Like you don't have to buy anything. It's free. Obviously, it's promoting Amazon's deal, but it's cool. If you have an Android phone, check it out. It's pretty cool. I'd imagine you could probably do it on your PC as well. But do you have any thoughts, Eric? I saw you laughing there for a minute.
What I find fascinating is that people have joked so many times at Todd Howard that they put Skyrim on everything instead of making Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, Elder Scrolls 6 got announced, obviously, but
yeah.
And instead of just like addressing it or anything like, well, they do address it, but instead of just like being sorry, we didn't mean to overbear you or anything, they just roll with it. They put Skyrim on Alexa, and they show in the commercial like him playing it like on different things, like he's playing it on his refrigerator.
Yeah, and like the enemy like does like a snow breath or something, and like the fridge like craps out a bunch of ice on the floor. That's what I thought was funny about it was like they're acknowledging that this is a thing that people are saying, and they're like kind of making fun of themselves. But that's why I thought it was a joke. But then I found out like no, they actually did put the game on Alexa, so you can play it on Alexa.
That is a one problem with the commercial is that you you can't tell if they're actually joking or not. Because when you watch this, it all looks like a joke from beginning to end. You don't think that the Alexa has like an actual Skyrim game on it, but it actually does. It's like they have to. I mean, you had to clarify that with me. Like you showed me the video, and I'm like this is just a joke. You know that, right? And you're like, no. It like the rest of it was, but the Alexa part's actually real. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, because it's kind of almost like bad advertising in the commercial because it's for comedic effect, but he's trying to name like what he wants Alexa to do, and Alexa's not responding, and he has to like he's frustrated and he pushes everything off his desk. It's like that's not very good for Amazon to say like like it doesn't understand you. But yeah, it's kind of weird that they presented all these absurd examples like playing on your pager. And like how are you supposed to know the Alexa one's real and the other one's not? But I don't know. I Googled it and I saw like no, people are actually playing it, and it's very it's very crazy. It's kind of interesting whoever came up with this idea because if it's somebody at Amazon, I'm really really impressed that they were that in touch with their consumers to know that this was a joke going around about Skyrim, and then they approached Bethesda and said, "Hey, let's work on this and just get it out there. We think it'll increase sales, and your fan base would like laugh at it." I mean, it's I found that pretty crazy that they were actually that in touch with the consumer base. But so Skyrim can now be played on almost anything now.
We shall not rest till Skyrim can be played on everything.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. Speaking of which, though, I actually looked this up because I saw elsewhere where Skyrim can be played somewhere else that you did not know. And I'm going to show this here on the screen. But this is actually made by a fan of Skyrim, so it's actually not Bethesda sanctioned, but it can be downloaded for free. Skyrim can now be played on a TI-84 graphing calculator. So
well, obviously, it's the most powerful device of them all. So
Yeah. So it's still text based, but you have to press 1 for this race or 2 for this race. Which spell do you want to use, etc. But you can download it now. It's for free. Just Google Skyrim TI-84, and you can upload that onto your TI-84 calculator if you have one. And if you're going to college or maybe you're in high school or whatever the case, you're bored in class. You can look like you're crunching numbers, but you're really just killing some orcs and stuff. So you can now get Skyrim on the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, Steam, Alexa, Android, and a TI-84 calculator. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing, but I think that's it. But yeah, you can pretty much play the game any way you'd like.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But anyways, so I think that about covers our topics this week. Fairly long episode, but next week we're going to go back to our standard fare episodes. If you guys got any comments or complaints or suggestions for topics next week, let us know in the comments. And just real quick shout out to, he's been commenting on a lot of our videos, but BioPhoenix, I forgot that I was going to bring up at the beginning. He actually gave us a shout out on one of his videos. He told everyone to go check us out, and he really liked our podcast and everything like that. Really, really cool, good of him, because he has like 10 times the subscribers that we do. So that was really, really cool of him. So probably next week I'll have to remember to shout him out at the beginning. But I really appreciate that. But anyways, thanks for listening. Don't forget you can get the audio version. There'll be a link in the description. And we'll check you all out next week. Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya.